No, two-step method is not good for skills. It's not good for skills.
I want you to do push-up, 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 hold! I will personally fly over to London and shake your hand.
They will feel pain, crazy 1-2 weeks after the session.
Bro, you're right. I don't agree with this. As the doctor,
yes, for sure.
I tell people don't do this. Why not do a safer way?
Because I'm not gonna get injured. And if I do, because I'm stupid. You'll be impressed that you have to admit that it's true as a medical doctor. You'll be impressed and upset and confused. Something that I will share with you, but I wanted to keep a secret. Even in my vlogs, I don't share it. I'm being monitored and maybe you wanna hear the names of the athletes. But that's one thing that I don't like sharing too much.
Name, bro. We love names, bro. What do you think?
That's it, bro. Convinced me fully.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dr. Yaad podcast. Today I'm joined by Ian Barseagle, a well-known figure in the calisthenics and strength space. He's about 188 centimeters tall, and he weighs around 92 to 95 kilos. Ian, I know it's a bit of a meme at this point, but I had to get out of the way. You are a big guy. We have to say it.
Thank you.
You're a very big guy. He's known for pushing the limits on strength skills and bodyweight training, showing great form on muscle ups, looking effortless, even though he's so big, and handstand push-ups, 90 degrees push-ups, and he even claims to have achieved a full planche in just 4 months. Ian promotes something called the two-step method, which is a minimalistic approach that he says works across strength, hypertrophy, and skill development for crazy moves like the muscle up, handstand push-ups, planche, and front lever. Now, over the years, Ian, you've drawn both admiration, but also criticism. Me, for example, I made a video on it. And after a few hours of me making a video, it went live, you commented underneath it saying you want to talk about it all openly on a call or a podcast. So that's why we're here today. So thank you so much for coming on. I really respect that you're open to discussing criticism, but also diving deep into your training method, the two-step method. My goal today isn't to stir any drama. I'm not a drama channel. I just want to focus on training, right? I want to figure out what is the two-step method, where did it come from, what can we learn from it, and how can we push the conversation forward. But before we go into it, I have a question for you, Ian. How do you see yourself in the calisthenics and strength space, and what is the mission that you're chasing?
Yeah, I actually want to go into more details about your introduction. And the first one is the best meme I could have ever asked for is about my height and weight. Best thing possible, man, because that's the thing that I wanted people to know about when they see my videos. And I mention it on every video. And you know how it started? When one day I forgot to mention it. And then people are like, bro, something's not right. Let's mention it in the comments. And then I made a story about it. And then it started basically. So it went pretty well. And man, thank you very much for such introduction. Knowing your level, knowing what you've achieved, it feels very good. So it feels like you're interviewing me, but at the same time, I think it's going to be more of a conversation between two experienced athletes to see what do we decide eventually. Like, what's the best thing? What do we think about this? Mm-hmm. So I will not even take it so much as an interview, as just a nice conversation between two experienced athletes. And recently, I actually found out that you are stronger than I thought you was. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What I saw about you...
How did you find out?
Yeah. What I saw about you was just on the Brownie videos. I saw that you had strength. I saw that you could do things. And then I saw you're lifting very solid numbers on weighted pull-ups. I was like, okay, good. And then I found out you can do 50-second front lever. And then more and more stuff. So it's very, very good numbers. And actually, I will even want to speak to you about some subjects. Maybe you will teach me something new. That's the goal today. The goal today is to find out I'm wrong. That's my goal. To find out I'm wrong about something. Mm-hmm. That's the main goal. And yeah, when it comes to drama, man, give me more of that, please. If you speak respectfully, you're not going to raise your voice, just nice, good talk. I'm ready for anything you've got for me. So yeah, let's go with what do you want to speak about first?
So thank you so much for glazing me up. Thank you so much. A lot of people, I hide the gains. You don't see the gains. But when I show the gains, it's there. Yeah. But I'm hiding. We need to hide it. Yeah. I'm the opposite of you, right? I don't tell people I'm big. I make them think I'm weak, and then I do stuff. But thank you so much for glazing me.
Yeah.
Let's get into your training method, which is the famous, and you've also like made this very famous, the 2-set method. What is this method, Ian? Can you please tell us?
Yeah. So actually, the weird part about all this 2-set method thing is that I found out where it originated from recently. That's honestly the last thing I care about when it comes to methods. Maybe it's a bit wrong, but I don't care where it came from, who invented it. I care about, is it good? Does it work on people? And if it's actually good. So if it's proven method that works on many people, of course, I speak to more athletes to make sure that what I think is correct. So that's why I spoke to so many athletes. I want to just double check that the methods I use, what I know is actually like something solid. So when it comes to the 2-set method, I found out that it originates kind of from Mike Mentzer. So it's a bodybuilder who uses like small volume, but the intensity and the failure is crazy. And by the way, by intensity, one thing that I used this term wrong, it's used correctly in skills. So that's why I got used to using it correctly in skills. In skills, high intensity means you go for a full attempt where you barely hold a couple of seconds. That's what we use it for. And I got used to using this same term for weights. So you mentioned it also in the video. So it makes sense. It's a good point. And now I'll be more careful with using this term.
But I think I also want to mention something. I also need to elaborate, because there is such a thing as relative intensity and absolute intensity. And usually when people in sports science talk about intensity, they mean absolute intensity. And what absolute intensity means, it means just the total difficulty, right? Like you mentioned, I can only hold this for 2 seconds, so it's very intense. Or I can only do 80 kilo pull-ups for 1 rep, so that's super intense. But relative intensity means how close to failure you are. So if you were talking about relative intensity, you were completely correct. But I didn't mention that part. So some people in the comments were like, Yaad, what about relative intensity? I was like, oh shit, you're right. So I also want to say that. But continue, please.
But yeah, the 2-set method, basically, it was something that I've heard about when I was just at the beginning of my journey. I didn't even start gaining knowledge too much. I just found out about this method, and I love that it's failure. And I love that you can kind of gain muscles and gain strength at the same time. So the main part about strength is that, yes, it's not the best method in the world for strength. And yes, it's not the best method in the world for muscle gaining, but it's a good combination of both. And it's a short workout. It's a short, solid workout that will get you gains. And some people might say, bro, it worked for you. It's not going to work for somebody else. And now this is a good topic to get into. And I want to speak to you mostly. So to see what's your opinion on this. So what I would say is, if a method works for 10 people and they did a good job, it's going to work for everybody. But if you like the method, if you don't like the method, it's not going to work for you. Or if it doesn't suit your work type of structure, if you're busy on this day, but you're supposed to actually train on that day, but you can't. So if you manage to make the workout structure fit what you do, you somehow switch your mindset into liking the method, and it's actually a good method, it will work for you for sure for a long time, especially if it's a good progressive overload method. So I want to hear your side.
Yeah. So I agree. I think one of the most important things is an athlete being motivated and believes in the method. So mindset is one of the most important things. And that's why sometimes having a coach is the greatest thing. Because if you have a coach that has achieved a high level of athleticism, you are more likely to believe what they say and more likely to push beyond and actually, enjoy your workouts. But I have some questions regarding the 2-set method on what it completely entails. Like, how many workouts per week do you do, for example, and which exercises and what rep range?
Yeah. So usually when I speak to a general audience, I would let them rest 1 or 2 days longer than needed just in case. And what's this thing about? And this is a rule that I wish everybody would remember for all their life, because it's an important one. And I also want to know what you would say, but I'm sure you would confirm it. It's basically, if you need to recover 4 days between a workout, a high intensity workout, I would tell people give 5 or 6 just in case. Why? Because on the 3rd day, you might already feel fresh, but there's a chance you might still be sore, but you just can't trigger the soreness or check for that soreness, but it might still be there. So just in case, you would give 5 or 6 days of rest, because if a workout plan requires you to rest 4 days, but you rest 3, you might not get injured, you might still progress, but there's a chance that it might go wrong. But if you give 5, 6, or even up to 7 days, you will still progress with that method, and it's safe. If you would be coached by me, or all your progress is being monitored by some high-level athlete, then this stuff changes a little bit. But just in case, I'll tell people, always the main rule, rest or 1 or 2 days rest more than needed, than resting 1 day less than needed. So that's the main thing that I share with people. That's why I tell people with two-set method, rest 5 to 7 days. 4 is okay, but at least maybe while you're still adapting to the method, you might need even 7, 8 days because you might feel way more sore than usually. After a couple of workouts, then maybe you give a bit less rest, but never less than 4 full days of rest between muscle groups. So basically...
Okay. So you don't actually have like, you don't focus on having this many workouts in 7 days, but just this much rest between workouts is what you're more focusing on, right? Yeah. If I hear you correctly.
For example, what's a split? And try to remember, because when someone shares a split, it's hard to imagine it perfectly in the mind. So it's push, rest, pull, legs, 2 days rest, repeat. And you might think, why is there not a gap also between the leg day? Well, because, okay, it should be if you care a lot about leg day, because you might feel a bit not so fresh mentally after a workout, once you do a workout before the leg day, but because I would give 2 days rest after a leg day, because the leg day is so intense that even after 1 day rest, even though the muscle group is different, you will feel a bit messed up, you know, so you will feel not the best. So this is the structure, but I would give even a different structure with more rest if you're just getting into this method. Because I've done it for many years. Many people have done it for many years. You do not get used to it because you don't let your body get used to it because you keep adding more weight or you keep doing more reps. So you don't get adapted to it. And I would say minimum 2-3 days, you feel crazy soreness. So on the 4th day, you finally don't feel it, but it's still there. So the 5th day, just in case you give another rest day, or even on day 6.
Are you familiar with the stimulus recovery adaptation curve?
Can you explain
that curve? It's the curve where you do your workout and then you see the person's performance go down because they're recovering. Then as they finally have recovered and they even improve a little bit. And once they have improved a little bit, that's when you do the second workout and then they go down again. And so it's like whoop, whoop, and they keep going up. The problem is if you rest a little bit too short, you start doing a workout when you're below, so you keep going down, down, down. If you rest, too late, it's already on baseline level, so you're not making progress at all. If you rest perfectly, you keep going up and up and up. And one of the hardest things about rest time is that it really depends on which muscle group you're training. So if you're a bodybuilder, they actually have they look at different muscle groups and they treat them differently. In strength sports, because we're working on compound movements often, which involves a lot of muscles, it gets a little bit more simplified because you only focus on that. And there's stories on like world record deadlifters that only do deadlifts once every 2 weeks. That's how long that curve takes. So the point I'm trying to make is the stimulus recovery adaptation curve, the length of that depends greatly on not only which exercise, but also who you are, what gender. Women seem to have a shorter stimulus recovery adaptation rate than men. So I completely understand your approach to this is how many days you should rest. But I would, for example, to improve upon it, I would see, okay, if you're a woman, it's probably going to be a little bit shorter, for example. You could do something like that. Or you could be like, okay, so if you're doing deadlifts, it should be much longer. And so I don't know what the right answer is on which lift, but I do think, checking for delayed onset muscle soreness, checking for soreness is a great thing to do. A second thing I think you could add to this method of making sure how long people rest is the speed. How explosive is your warm-up, right? You might have noticed this because you have crazy good muscle ups. Some days you're like, yo, I'm dipping. Why do I have to dip? This is not good. I'm dipping. I should be doing no dip muscle ups. And then okay, this is not a good day. Or am I wrong?
Yeah. So, actually you've said 3 things that I want to talk about. So I'll try to speak about the first one is what's this two-step method? Like, what do I actually think about it? Well, it's a method that I have just used. Yeah. So it's just one of many methods that definitely, so a claim for sure that I'm making, you'll definitely get to minimum 40 kilos for 10 reps on pull-ups and minimum 70 kilos for 10 reps on dips. With this method, it will take time, of course. Minimum. Is there better methods for strength that will get you there faster? Yes. But that method usually is not as good for muscle growth. So it's a good, solid combination of a method that I've done. Is there many methods we can speak about that are very good? Yes, there's many of them. It's just I've done it for many years. I had good results. Many people have done good results. Let me share it with the audience. So I just shared something that will help you for many years to get good results in terms of muscle and in terms of strength, basically. So you'll get to a good level, basically. So there's more things to speak about when it comes to this, you know? It's a good subject. But what's another thing that maybe I missed that you want me to talk about?
I think I mentioned the speed of your muscle ups, for example. I'm very curious. Do you warm up with muscle ups?
Never. Even though I can do muscle ups with no warm up whenever I want easily, I do 2 warm up sets before I do muscle ups.
And what do you do? What do I do? Set?
First one, normal 3 reps of bodyweight pull-ups. So if today I'm doing first thing muscle ups, 3 bodyweight reps, just pull-ups, normal pull-ups. Second set is higher pull-ups. So I'm getting more explosive. Yeah. And also 2 free reps because I'm doing 3 reps in a set or 4 reps maximum. So there's no need to do more. Yeah. And that's it. So, and of course, proper dynamic stretch because I keep the wrist in the same place and maybe some dynamic stretch for the lats. So, and I make sure the body is warm before the session.
When you do your explosive pull-ups, do you sometimes feel like, oh, it's not as explosive as I want them to be? And then be like, this probably means I need to rest more. Is that something you do?
No, because I don't go maximum explosive, so I can't tell. I can usually tell after the first working set of muscle ups, you know? So even if I feel something weird, no matter how sore I am, I'll never get injured from muscle ups. So that's why I check usually a bit later. So in the first working set.
So I actually want to give a tip to the audience because this is something that I've learned a few years ago when I was studying informally sports science. I don't have a degree in it. But I was looking into fatigue, right? When you get fatigued, certain things happen and before your strength goes down. And if your strength goes down, at some point you're like, okay, I need to do deload because I'm too tired. I'm too fatigued. And one of the things that you can use to monitor your fatigue for your central nervous system. So because you mentioned, for example, leg day has also impact on our upper body day, which is true because there is such a thing as systemic central nervous system fatigue. One of the things you can do is look at the speed at which you can do a movement. So you can literally do your most explosive high effort pull up. And if it's slower, that could be an indication that you're not recovered enough and that you should maybe postpone your workout for a day. And explosivity, so speed, is one of the very first things that gets fatigued, like weeks before you have a deload. So it's the earliest marker, or one of the earliest markers you can actually use to be like, oh shit, I'm not recovered enough. I use this all the time. So I warm up with muscle ups. I just do very explosive pull-ups. So they're not even muscle ups. I just do very explosive pull-ups. And when I notice, oh my God, I'm not getting, after like 2 sets, I'm not touching my hip, the bar. I should maybe not do my craziest weighted pull-up set workout or do it maybe the day after and see again.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
Man, again, like 4 things I wanted to speak about, but I'll speak about the last one. So usually every time I've had a period where I've done 60-70% intensity muscle ups. So nothing too special. I don't try too much to be too explosive before I do the main sets on weighted pull-ups. So that's enough for me not to get affected on the weighted pull-ups. And what's interesting is that I never do very solid muscle ups or my best muscle ups in that occasion because my mind is all about weighted pull-ups on that day. I don't care too much about it. So that's one interesting thing. And another thing I wanted to speak about, and I'm glad I didn't forget, is when is it not too late to decide to leave the workout for tomorrow? I think it's too late if you've already done one working set. If you've done one working set, it's a bit late to leave it for tomorrow. If you find out already like early, so in your warm-up sets, okay, it's feeling weird, then it's okay. But if it's a skill that even if you're sore, you're not going to get injured doing the actual workout, it's better, I think, to decide to go less intense and think, why am I suddenly very sore or very not recovered? I've done something wrong. So I'd rather take a chill workout than leave it for tomorrow because there's a big chance it's not going to go well anyway because I've messed up so much. So what's the reason this happened? And let's stay a bit on this subject to maybe end and put a point on what's actually the best stuff. So tell me what you think.
So I think sometimes it's not something you did wrong. Maybe you just didn't sleep well, or maybe, something happened in your family, or maybe work was a little bit too stressful. All these things, they all impact your central nervous system. It's like our body can't make the difference between a hard set versus me being stressed that my boss was angry at me. Our body doesn't know the difference. They're both stress, right? And so I think what I do is my warm-up sets are always light, but very high effort. So even though I'm just doing a bodyweight pull-up and I can do an 80 kilo pull-up, the bodyweight pull-up will be with the same incentive as if I'm doing 80 kilo. And you see high-level athletes like street lifters also do this. You see even high-level powerlifters do the same thing. They're like barbell bench press, and you're like, wow! You're like, please calm down. Don't break the bar. But they do it because they want to stay specific. They want to do full effort, and it recruits all the muscle fibers. So my end conclusion would always be, do your warm-up with something specific to the working set that you're doing, low intensity. Give it full effort. If it's way slower than it usually is, don't skip the workout. And I agree with you with the fact that if you've already done one working set and you're doing the 2-set method, that's like 50% of the workout for that muscle group. Yeah. Then you're too late.
Yeah.
You should have thought about this.
But can I ask you something quick so I don't forget? Because now, because I try to remember this, I don't even pay attention to what you're saying because it's tough to remember it. So one thing quickly is the reason you said why you might have a bad workout are usually related to you maybe not having enough motivation. So those things that you mentioned, 3 reasons you gave, they affect your motivation. But when I speak about this subject, I speak as the bare minimum is to have 10 out of 10 motivation, which is maybe wrong because I expect this to be the bare minimum because I teach people how to have every workout 10 out of 10 motivation, even if things get in the way. I teach also how not to let things get in the way. So I speak as if this is bare minimum, but I agree with you. Things like this definitely affect it. But those 3 reasons, they don't affect you if you know in the moment how to get 10 out of 10 motivation. They could affect it, but if you know how to get motivated, you look for other reasons. Those 3 reasons, bad sleep, someone affecting you at the job, they will not affect you that much. Very small amount, and maybe not enough for you to have a ruined workout because of this. And also about the 2-set method, maybe you deciding to go for a deload the next day, even I speak about muscle ups. Even if, in my case, I do muscle ups very easy, very explosive. If I do 1 set, working set, I still would rather not do it tomorrow or leave it for tomorrow. I'll just accept today I messed up bad. I start analyzing, why did I mess up? Why did I suddenly go bad? What did I go wrong? Maybe I've had too many weeks in a row of proper high intensity muscle ups and I didn't take a deload when I was supposed to. Maybe I've done something extra. So I'd rather start analyzing than make sure that tomorrow I have a good workout. No, I would make sure rather why did I mess up than have a gratification in the moment. I don't care about that so much. I would why did I mess up? That's the kind of the main subject.
Yeah.
But let me know what you think.
So I partially disagree with the motivation thing. So I 100% agree. Motivation is one of the most important things, right? You want to give full effort, especially when you're doing a strength sport, because your brain is the central nervous system. It's the one that recruits your muscle fibers. So if you're not giving full effort, you are not giving full strength, and you're not going to make the best gains. But the thing is, these things that I mentioned, like lack of sleep, bad nutrition, or people, or not even bad nutrition, we can put that on the side, but or something drastic happened in your life, or you're just not getting your time, you're not relaxing enough. That all adds up. It's one of the reasons why there's such a thing as a syndrome called burnouts, right?
Yes.
Overtraining and burnouts are physiologically the same thing. The body doesn't, again, recognize the difference between, I'm burned out from work or I'm overtrained from training. And one of the easiest way to explain this is hypothetically, let's say I have a twin. I have a twin doing the same workout. They're doing the 2-set method, let's say. And they're doing the same workout and they're making great gains, both of them. Now I give one of the twins a job. And their job is to work in the groceries, right? And they're not even lifting. They're just doing, checking. They're just checking everything. They're not doing a high intensive labor job, right? They're doing an easy job. However, just adding that amount of extra work, even though it's not physically difficult, is going to lead to the one twin, the supermarket twin, to not making as great gains as the other twin. Because this twin is not recovering as fast as the other one is. Because they literally have more work than the other one. And one of the reasons why I think this is very important to point out is a lot of people are not full-time athletes. And when we compare ourselves to full-time athletes and we do their program, we're not going to make the same gains. I trained, I completely changed up my work, my training method. Once I started becoming a medical doctor, I had to change everything up because I was burning out. I was basically burning out. I had the same passion. I'm super hyped. I'm like, every set, I give it my all. There's a reason why I still do the same sport 14 years later. It's crazy. Bro, I'm doing the same sport 14 years.
That's good.
This is crazy.
That's good.
Like, my motivation can be questioned. But I still burned out. And that's why I think it's very important to mention this point.
You know, Yaad, I'm glad you you clarified something that now I'm sure I know what you meant. So about those three things, again, we go back a bit to the reasons why someone could have a bad workout. Before you mentioned what you mentioned now, I looked at them as small mistakes. But now once you clarified, I look at them as major mistakes. So, for example, before you mentioned what you mentioned, I thought that you mean one day of bad sleep could affect it. Or a bit bad meal, small meal, it went bad, or you did some small mistakes, then it wouldn't affect it. It's a small thing. It's not enough to affect it fully. But now you mentioned consistent bad sleep. Oh, consistent bad sleep, less than 7 hours or 6 hours every day for a long time, or even those 7 hours are bad quality, you're done. You can't even expect progress. And I wouldn't even speak about training to that guy. I'm like, bro, why do you sacrifice something in life for sleep when that's the main thing in your life? What's wrong with you? So I would speak to him about the importance of sleep in his life, not even training. You know, at that point, training is gone. It's about health, bro. Like, why do you sacrifice for something little, your sleep? And also about diet, consistent bad diet. Oh, that's definitely, don't even expect progress. So now it makes sense. And I would say, the more of a beginner you are, the more you can still make those major mistakes and even see progress. The stronger you get, the less mistakes you're allowed to make to see that progress. For example, let's say in weighted calisthenics. Now I'm in my prime, 100 kilos for 10 reps on dips, you know, very prime on pull-ups. I am allowed probably to make like 3-4 small mistakes to maybe see progress. If I make one major mistake, it's done. Same guy who's weaker, he's at 10 kilo pull-ups, 20 kilo dips. He can make even 2 major mistakes and a couple of small ones, and he might still see progress. So I'm glad you clarified that. And actually, if there's something also you mentioned that you want to, that I didn't touch on or speak about, also let me know.
No, you did. And I think the way you called mistakes, I call it just life, right? I just call it life because sometimes most of these things, like you mentioned diet and sleep, okay, we're in charge of that. But there's also a lot of things we are not in charge of, right? Well, like I can't decide that I live in this country, for example. Some people just live in countries with a lot less opportunities and with lower life standards, and they that's just life. That's what happens. And of course, you can point out to a few people and be like, oh, but they live in that country and they still make gains. You can't generalize. Every person is different. It's just important to figure out what works for you to optimize their life within the framework they can. Some people have to do 2 jobs in order to live. You know, that's their life. So they have to train less, right? And for them, less is more. Less training means more gains because they need to switch up the priorities. Yes. So I completely agree with that. I just wouldn't call them mistakes. I would call them life.
But you know, I agree with you. You can call them or life or mistakes. I can call them both. What you just called them, it's perfectly fine. And you know, that's the reason what you just said now is the reason I say it's probably impossible to achieve our full potential. And that's good because you can always train for a long time. It's impossible to be 10 out of 10 serious and no mistakes and what you call life. So it's impossible. You need to be a robot. You need to live in the same room. Weather never changes. Food is the same. No problems. Nothing. You're programmed to not have any. So you need to be a full robot. Everything needs to be the same every day for you to achieve your full potential. And at the same time, you need to follow the best program, best diet for minimum 15 years. Impossible. So this makes it great that you can achieve a lot of things. And probably what we see online is we can achieve even more. And one thing I tell people, you can dominate over the athletes you see online by being more serious and trying to make less mistakes. Yes, life is tough. Yes, someone has more job. Yes, I know this. But that's something that you should know and try to do. Try to aim to be making less mistakes. It's very hard. It's almost not possible to not make any, but you need to aim for it. It's same as if you go into a subject of, again, sinning. No matter the religion you have, we try to be perfect. It's impossible. Nobody is perfect, but we're trying. That's the main. So it makes you a better person if you're trying not to and you work on it for many years. Same with this. I like to call these mistakes with training, same as sinning in life. It's very tough not to, but we work on it.
Yeah. No, I think I get what you're doing. You're basically because you're very motivational. You're trying to motivate someone as much in their context they have, and you're just trying to make the best out of their context.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing I try to do the same, but I try to also say it's okay. When you mess up, it's okay. You're not as big as Ian Barseagle. You're not 188 centimeters and 92 kilo. It's okay. You have a different life. You have a different body. It's okay. But give it your best, right?
Yeah,
That's the most important thing. Give it your best. Try to improve your sleep. Try to improve your diet. Try to make sure that you rest enough. Try to make sure that you follow the best program. Just optimize your situation. So I do agree with that.
Yeah. So basically, I say what I say, but before I say that, I'm like, so it's okay, and then start speaking. Good point.
Yeah, that's what he's going to say.
One great thing to change. Because again, in my case, for example, I've worked for many years on something that affects your training a lot, is how you deal with problems in life. Oh, this is an important subject, because you might think, bro, so let's say I coach somebody. Bro, he might think about this. He never said this, but why do you teach me about problems in life? Like, how does that make sense? Because a problem, you think about it too much. You sleep bad. You think about it too much. You don't stay so strict with diet. It affects you. So you need to know how do you deal with them properly, because I think I achieved a great level in this. So you can even go through examples, bro. What would you do if someone has this life and they're struggling with it? I might tell you my mindset, because it's not negative. My mindset is very positive, no matter how bad things get. What's the most positive thing about it? Because you think about something negative, if there's nothing you can do about it, as much as it's hard to do it, move on, forget forever about that problem.
Yeah,
there's no good thing to keep that in your mind. It's never going to get you to a good point. But yeah, let me know what you think, or even if
I agree. Positivity is one of the most important things. So I think mentality-wise, I completely agree with what you just said. With it's okay, just a little bit. It's okay. I just want to go back to the two-step method. Oh, hey! Now that I've got your attention, you saw that montage, right? I want to talk about a brand that I've been using almost daily. It's called Made, and all this is made by them. This brand, well, let me just show you. These P-bars, for example, they're much thicker than usual P-bars, which gives your wrist a lot more stability and a lot less pressure on your forearms, which makes planching a lot easier. Besides, it's super high quality wood and it's very sustainable. Then we have these resistant bands. It's made from 100% natural rubber, meaning this won't ever snap. Besides, the force curve is super consistent throughout the entire movement. They have so much more stuff. They have these minimalist rings. They have these straps that are super, super well thought of, and so much more. If you guys want to support me and Movement Made, use code Yaad10, and let's get back to the video. So right now, you've told me it's a workout like push, pull, legs, rest as much as you need. And we did a little bit of talking about, how can you figure out how you can do that. I mentioned that it's a little bit complex because gender stuff, etc. When do you do deload, for example, in this program? Wait, one second back. Rep range. What is the rep range?
Rep range is minimum 8, maximum 15. Of course, it's okay to go more than 15 or to even decide, okay, I'm not going to go 8 to 15, I'm going to go 17. It's fine. One thing I wouldn't suggest is go to a lower rep range. Because going until failure in a low rep range, you might need more volume. You might need to add another set or something would change. So it's not something I would suggest to go until failure in a low amount of rep range, because you might need to have non-stop reps. So you do non-stop reps, then you pause, and then you do. So it's more dangerous. I wouldn't suggest it unless your warm-up is good and you do everything good. But I would suggest a different method for that. It makes the method a bit more unsafe, the failure one. So, by the way, what exactly did you ask? Maybe I missed it.
And then, so okay, that makes sense. I like the rep range. I like the 8 to 15. At first, I was wondering why not a little bit lower, because we know that hypertrophy starts from the 5th rep.
Yeah.
But I do agree, high intensity can be quite difficult. But I would personally put it maybe at 5 till 15.
Yeah,
but that's me.
Yes.
It's a little bit nitpicky. It also depends. Again, some people genuinely respond better to a lower rep range, and some people respond a lot better on a higher rep range.
Yeah.
But I like that there's a rep range and there's not a rep.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things I hate. I hate when people say this is how many reps. No, it should always be a rep range. But I have a question. Why failure, for example? Why do you make them go to failure?
Yeah. So, by the way, about what you said, even though I agree with you, 5 to 15, perfect. Even you can go on 4, perfect. But I don't trust the people. I know they make more mistakes than I do. I know there's a higher chance of them getting injured, because you need to think faster when something's wrong. And when something goes wrong, they feel something weird in their chest before a push day. People usually, bro, I'm so motivated. How can I skip? They go for the workout anyway. So there's a higher chance to get a more serious injury with the lower rep range, because people make mistakes. That's the reason why I would still say, bro, minimum 8, because it's easier to feel the injury coming in the sets before that.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the reason. But what did you ask me, by the way? What was the question? Failure. Why failure? Well, I know definitely that close to failure works as good as failure. And you can actually do maybe more sets or more volume in the workout, so it's a bit more effective. But this method is, again, one of many methods that is good, that will give people results. They can use it. I've used it. It feels great because you go until failure. It's a great method. It's a solid method. That's what I'll call it. Very solid method. And of course, on YouTube, I used a nice clickbait. Best method, number 1 method for muscle growth and strength. Well, who doesn't exaggerate in that video? Did you never exaggerate a bit for a clickbait picture?
All the time, bro.
Exactly. So that's basically what it was. I shared a good method with people. There's more ways you can do this, the way of training. You can do maybe 3 sets instead of 2, but they're close to failure. For example, your goal is, before you add weight, is do 10 reps in the first one, 9 in the second one, 8 in the third one. And you add more weight if you've had 1 rep in reserve in the last set. That's when you add more weight. If you barely did the last set 8 reps, then you keep the same weight for next training, and you try to make it look easier before you add weight. Yeah. That's another way of doing it. Another way of doing it is doing 4 sets, and your last set is close to failure. 1-2 reps away from failure before you add weight. So there's more ways of doing it. Basically, there's also a way where you go 1 set until failure. But that set until failure is even partial reps until you're done. After that set, it's over. It's going to be too much to do more. So there's so many ways of training. That's just one of them,
What is your favorite way of failure? Because there are many different failures. There's technical failure where the form just breaks. There's failure where you go down, but you can't go up anymore. It's done. You're dead.
Yes,
Which one do you do?
So there is, but again, it depends on the exercise we're speaking about, because the way you would go until failure on squats is different to on pull-ups. Because, for example, on pull-ups, the best way I can suggest people to go until failure, and is the way every top athlete uses, who knows what they're doing, is you go non-stop reps until you feel like you've got 1 more or 2 more non-stop reps in reserve. So non-stop reps in reserve. You take a pause, 2-3 seconds. 1 rep. Again, pause, 2-3 seconds. And towards the last 2-3 reps, instead of 2-3 seconds, you might give 4-5 seconds rest in between the reps. So it's tactical failure. You've got a specific tactic to go until failure. I would not call a good failure for you to just go non-stop until you can't non-stop anymore. It's not too smart. You're probably leaving out 1, 2, 3 reps that you could have done more if you'd use this tactic.
I think one of the good arguments for failure, the way you describe it, is many beginners don't push themselves enough, right? And when you only have 2 sets, you're able to push yourself max, all the time for all the sets. Because there's only 2 sets, you're not going to cry. It's only 2 sets, you push max. Even Jeff Nippert on his latest video where he promotes a high intensity, low volume training program, he said, oh man, I can train so much harder because it's a lot less work. So I can give it all for all the sets. Now, I personally also do a relatively high intensity, low volume type of training. Yeah. So I like the method. And I think the reason why it works so well for beginners and intermediates is because it's so simple, because you can't fuck up, right?
Yeah.
This is the rep range, do better than last time, and just give it your all. I like to sometimes nuance it a little bit. So the way I do it, Ian, is I just say, try to do better than last time, right? Yes. And so they do like 8 reps, and then maybe they had like 2 reps in failure, right? That's okay. I'm fine. Yeah, 2 reps in reserve, completely fine. But next time you need to do 9-9. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Next time you need to do 10-9. Oh, okay. Next time you need to do the 10-10.
Yes.
And so now they're pushing themselves to failure. At some point, they're not making any gains. Okay. Now you do a deload.
Exactly.
So I call the dynamic reps in reserve. I call it a little bit of dynamic reps in reserve because it progressively gets closer to failure the deeper you are in both your session and your cycle.
Yes. You know. I want to see what you would say about this best way to explain what I think about the 2-set method. Let's say the best method for strength is 10 out of 10 for strength and 6 out of 10 for strength gain, for muscle gain, usually, or even 5 out of 10, because if you make it more effective for muscle gain, you'll sacrifice a bit the strength because you go until failure. You can't do the method more frequently because you're more sore. All these reasons. I would call the 2-set method, and again, by the way, what I would call a 10 out of 10 method for muscle gaining. 3-4 sets until failure, proper failure. You do more exercises, to hit every single muscle, and you rest enough so you get a good structure, but you don't have explosive solid technique that's good for strength. So that 10 out of 10 method for muscle growth that bodybuilders use, I would make it even 3-4 out of 10 for strength, or maybe 5. What I call the 2-set method now. I would call the 2-set method 7 out of 10 for strength, but actually you'll be impressed. I call it 10 out of 10 for strength in the first couple of weeks or months of training, because you get this adaptation process. You get crazy. Man, I've had people who gain 25 kilograms in their working sets in 1 month. Yeah. And I can show you minimum 10 examples, or 20, even 50 probably. I didn't count them.
Yeah.
So the adaptation process happens very quicker than most methods for strength. Because most methods for strength are like 2.5 kilo every workout or every other workout. So it's more slow but steady progress. This one, adaptation process through the roof. So I would suggest people to use it for at least a couple of months to get them crazy fast gains, or if they really want to gain muscle. So what would I rate it now? 7 out of 10 for strength, and I would give it 8 out of 10 for muscle growth. And time consumption, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I think one of the great point is because it's so simplified and it's super specific to like a very few exercises, you're going to have a lot of central nervous system adaptation in the beginning. So you're going to make a lot of gains. You see this in any training program, like powerlifting programs also. They're so specific to the main lifts. And the closer you are to a competition, you see these programs cut out other exercises, accessories gone, even the rep range gets closer to the competition rep range. The more specific you are, the closer to the thing that you're trying to improve you do, the stronger you get at it. And because you have enough rest because of the low volume, you're going to have the greatest expression of strength versus being fatigued and not being able to push yourself max. Because strength, one of the problems with strength is just a tiny little bit of fatigue can already have huge impacts on how much you can express. It doesn't mean that that person is weaker. They're just not able to show their strength with a higher volume training. It's also one of the reasons why it's very hard for me sometimes to motivate athletes to do a hypertrophy cycle. So they do a mass cycle. I'm telling them, you're going to get stronger once we do a strength cycle. They're like, but I'm getting weaker every week. I'm like, no. You're getting weaker at 1 RM. But you are going to get stronger once you are rested. So then they do a deload. Then they do the strength cycle. Boom, 10 kilo added, maybe 20 kilo added. Because now they have more muscle mass. Now they're rested. And now they can express their strength.
Yes, Yaad, I'm glad I speak to someone who knows how the system works. The conversation goes pretty well, because if you don't understand something or think I'm saying something like really wrong, you ask me, then I clarify, we're all good. It's easy to understand it. And one more thing that I like to teach people that they need to learn how to do, and I'm sure before you even agree, I'm sure you'll agree, is do not always base, if you gain strength, based on your 1 rep max. Look at your working sets. Whatever method you're doing. If you do a method where you need to get like 8 to 10 reps or 15 reps, with that weight, with that rep range, in that rep range, did you gain weight? Like, did you get from 20 kilos for 10 reps to 30 kilos for 10 reps, well done, you go stronger. Do not always look at 1 rep maxes. And I think this is social media affecting people because they see 1 rep maxes everywhere. So they have a feeling that they have to do it. I never suggest my students to do a 1 rep max unless they prepare for a competition. If you prepare for a competition, you use a way of training that would have a 1 rep max every, let's say, 6 weeks or 5 or 7 or 8, something like this. So you have a 1 rep max. Usually, none of my students do 1 rep max because they don't want to go to competitions, you know? Yeah, so smart. That's also one interesting way. And by the way, I'm sure you would want to ask this because I speak about skills and 2-set method. No, 2-set method is not good for skills. It's not good for skills. The fact that 2-set method gives you good strength in weighted pull-ups, weighted dips will get you the skills faster after you do proper skill training. For sure, that's obvious. There's nothing new that I just shared. 2-set method for skills is not good because on most skills, you need more volume, lower intensity. That's especially a balanced skill like handstand push-ups. You need to be not even close to failure, or in some methods, yes, they work well if you're close to failure. But I would say your last working set, the best way to train, for example, handstand push-ups for an athlete who can do like 6 reps, is your last working set should have at least 2 reps away from failure. So you can repeat the workout more often. So you practice the balance more often. You get stronger faster. You're not even close to getting injured. So all these reasons, basically. But yeah, I want to see what you want to.
So I have to ask you, because we've been very transparent. We've been talking about it in detail, and I think it's very good that we talked about skill and 2-set. Do you think that the 2-set method? Well, how do you now train skills, for example, in your programs and stuff? I haven't seen the programs, but how do you train? For planche and front lever, and how do you train for those exercises now?
So it has nothing to do with the 2-set.
Have you ever claimed that the 2-set method is good for skills? Is this something you've done?
You know, never. I have never claimed 2-set method is good for skills. Never. I have claimed that 2-set method will get you good at weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, and then you get the skills faster, you know, because you're strong in weighted pull-ups or weighted dips. But 2-set method got you to good strength on weighted pull-ups, weighted dips. Maybe, and I don't know this, maybe on my website somewhere, one of my team members have added this. If they added this, I'm going to have a 2-hour discussion with them of a mistake. And it's my fault because I didn't review the website to see that. But from what I know, nobody has ever shown that I've said or I've mentioned anywhere that 2-set method will get you good progress in skills. But actually, I'll say also one thing. Will the 2-set method work on skills? It will. But it's far from the best method. It's one of the worst ones for skills. Yeah. Because most skills require more sets, less intensity. Most skills.
Yeah, more frequency also, more days.
Yeah. So like, for example, handstand push-ups. I would suggest someone, how would I suggest it? Let's say you can do 6 handstand push-ups again. Today, proper workout where you do like 8 sets of 3. And in the last set, you've cut like 1-2 reps in reserve. You rest one day, you do another handstand push-up workout, but you do like 5 sets of 2 or 4 sets of 2, but you do also less range of motion. So that is not too crazy for you. And then you rest one day, and then you do another proper workout. Something like this. Or if needed, you'll do a bit more rest, one day rest, longer in some cases. But with time, you'll adapt to this system and it will work pretty good. So that's another example.
Have you focusing on the transition? Because I've preached the same thing, right? I've preached get muscle mass, get foundational strength, then get skills, because now you have more room to fuck up, right? You have more room to, you don't have to give full muscle effort. Rather, it's more a central nervous system thing. And so you can train more. And it's a lot smarter for beginners and intermediates. How long do you think it takes from someone doing like the 2-step method for a long time to getting advanced skills? Like how much time
Okay.
to make that transition?
Good. I understood the question. So the fastest way to learn any skills is by doing just that skill. Right. But almost nobody will do this, right? So if you're supervised by a high-level coach or any coach that knows what they're doing, you can do whatever you want. You can start them whenever you want, you know? So you can start them whenever you want. But most people, oh no, I will not suggest them to get into skills. Because skills are harder. It's more knowledge you need. Everything about them is tougher. there's a higher chance of injury. On a small little wrist injury, it will affect you for so long if you don't heal it. So all this stuff is more complicated. So let's see, doing the basics, the main importance actually is that you understand how training works. So once you understand how the easy part works, so the basics, you will also try to understand the skills later on. But again, just gain some knowledge. You know, I'm a young guy, and even for me, 5 years ago, it was harder to gain knowledge than it is for, you know, people now.
100%.
And I'm a young guy, and I say this. I'm impressed. I say this. So yeah, basically. But did you mention also something that I forgot to speak?
Yeah, but so how long? I've seen quotes from people sending to me on the comments saying that Ian claims that you can learn advanced skills in just 3 months after having done the two-step method.
Okay.
You still agree with that?
What skill I was speaking about? Let's go more specific.
It was the sentence before was, they quoted this, you probably wonder what it would be like to do skills like this, muscle ups, front lever, planche, and you might think it will take you 3 to 5 years to learn advanced skills like this, but the reality is you can learn advanced skills in just 3 months in practice.
Yeah.
Is that something you still believe?
Muscle ups or which skill? Let's go more specific. What skill?
It says, so you showed in the video muscle ups, front lever, and planche.
Good. So I'll give you a range. Yeah. So again, I mentioned something that is true, but I didn't go into details. That's not what you do on a website. All the details explain. No, that's what I do on a video now with you. So if you can do, let's talk about the basic level I tell people before getting into skills. 20 kilos for 10 reps on pull-ups. Yeah. Once you are at that level, most people get it in the first attempt, muscle up. You don't get it in first attempt if you get the technique so wrong, it's crazy. Or if you do very slow control technique, but even if you do slow control technique, if you do 20 kilos for 10 reps slow control technique, bro, you've got more than enough strength. But so muscle up, first workout, usually maximum 3 workouts, you just do attempts, you learn it easily. Front lever, I would say 1 to 15 workouts. Could be fast, could be slow. I know guys that I've coached, 15 pull-ups, they can do 15 pull-ups. And of course, they were not supposed to randomly try a front lever, but they make mistakes. They randomly try the front lever, they could do it. The guy was a bit short, you know, perfect height, perfect weight, no leg training. He could do also 1 arm pull-up. First try at 15 pull-ups. There's some people like this, but there's some people who, no matter the basics, it will still take some time. For example, for me, I could do in my prime pull-ups 77.5 kilos, 7 reps. And on my left hand, when I started 1 arm pull-ups, it took me a month and a half to get 1 rep. But not because I could have done it a bit faster, but I was adapting to the movement so I don't get injured. I was letting the body understand that I'm about to do attempts in a month or 2 and I don't want to get injured from them. So I was adapting the rotator cuff and everything well. So, and then from 2 reps, I went to 9 reps in 2 months and a half of 1 arm pull-ups. Is that not crazy result? So yeah. Good. So that's what they go to. And the technique, okay, technique. If you look at technique, I do a small little swing with 1 leg. It's not crazy. It's a small little swing on the 1 arm pull-ups. But why do I do it? And what's my best argument against that? Yes, it's not the best technique in the world, but the guy who beat the world record, some, I think, Chinese guy, he did that even more on his last reps. Yes.
He did this, bro. He was dancing.
Yes. First rep was not too bad. First couple of reps were solid, still a bit of swing, but it's solid. But still, of course, the smooth, nice technique is the solid one, but it's not bad. It's still not bad. So, yeah, by the way, did I answer your question or did I go off topic a bit?
But let's say I'm a guy, right? How much, what level in the 2-step method would you say I should be at, if I'm 80 kilos, for example, that I can get a front lever, and how long would it take? Because you mentioned 15 workouts, 1 to 15. Yeah. 15 is that's like 2 months, 2-3 months. So that's really fast.
Good. Yeah. So
how much foundational strength would they need?
Yes. So basically, what would I say? I'll give you the best example possible. If an 80 kilo guy with, let's say, some average legs, everything is average, 180 centimeters tall. If his level is 20 kilos for 10 reps on weighted pull-ups, he gets the front lever, I would say, from 3 to even 20 workouts. Because we're speaking about 80 kilos. That's why I'm going now 20 workouts. Some people learn it fast. It's even crazy. Some people take it longer. If you're at 40 kilos for 10 reps, then it's 1 to, let's say, 12 workouts. If you're at 60 kilos for 10 reps, which is a very solid result, then it's also 1 to 8 workouts could be. Like at least 2-3 second hold. So, the higher, but is it worth if you want only skills to go for weighted pull-ups, weighted dips? No, especially if you have a good coach. If a good coach is coaching you, you can do skills whenever. You don't have to do weighted pull-ups, weighted dips.
Yeah.
But I will always say, you will never regret getting stronger weighted pull-ups, weighted dips and gaining a body that you will never lose in your whole life, unless you don't eat enough protein, you start eating less than usual, and you don't train at all. Then you'll lose a bit, but even then, you gain it whenever you want. You gain it back pretty fast. So, yeah.
So I understand. I'm actually asking you an impossible question, right?
Tell me.
I think, well, it's almost impossible to say it's this amount of, for one of pull-ups, you could make the argument. I make the argument, 90% body weight, then you can, added body weight, then you can probably safely do one on pull-up. You can probably get it earlier. Some people get it at 70% body weight added weight. They can get one on pull-ups. But for a front lever and for planche, like straight arm statics, so we're not talking about handstand push-ups or muscle ups or one on pull-ups. They're different. It's also a lot less leverage based. It is leverage based, but a lot less than front levers and planche.
Yeah.
If someone would ask me that question, I would personally say, I have no idea, bro. It could be anything. I've seen cases of people doing crazy good, like weighted pull-ups and still not have a front lever. But I've also seen people being shit at weighted pull-ups, but they're doing straight arm touch, right? They're doing Victorians. I've seen both cases. And so for people asking me that, I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't know. I do know that getting good pull-ups is always nice. It's a good thing to have, right? It's a good foundation. It's going to create resilience, and it's going to make sure it's going to help more than not help, right? It's going to help more than not help. But I would never say, okay, pull-ups or even weighted dips are going to get you planche in this amount of time, because there's too many variables. It's crazy how many variables.
Yes. Based on what you said, I will change one thing about what I said. So I'll actually change something. I'll adjust something, because you made a lot of sense. So, when I said, if you're at this level, it will take you up to 20, up to 15, up to 12 workouts. I would say, I'll change only one thing. What's the maximum amount it might take you? The minimum, I will not change it, because some people, again, they can just get it first try. Even planche, first try. They can't. There's cases like this.
Yeah.
I will change up to how long? So instead of 20, I'll change it up to 30 now. Up to 30 workouts. So if I said up to 15, I'll change it up to 25. So again, because there are cases where it takes longer. But again, we need to also consider that it can take you still a good, you can learn it fast if the guy has a very good program for front lever. He's doing everything right, which is a small chance that he's doing everything right. The chance is that he go a random program, maybe he doesn't know how things work so well, so that's why it might take him long. But if every guy we're speaking about in this example has a very good program, very good coach, then they easily fit into that category where they learn it fast.
So how many workouts would it take for someone who can achieve planche, for example? How much weighted dips do they need to do? Let's say you, for example, let's say you want to achieve full planche. How much for your 188 centimeters and 92 kilos?
Yeah.
How much do you need to dip? And do you also do overhead press?
No.
Okay. So how much would you need to dip then?
How much would you need to dip to do planche in how many workouts?
Oh, you can decide. Just a number.
So if you can do even 150 kilogram dip, for one rep, it still might take you up to 3 months to get it up to. Again, there are many cases where they do full planche first workout. Also many cases like this. Yes, they maybe get a spasm in the cheeks, from trying it, the straddle planche. But they still, there's some cases, but again, it might take even up to 5 months. But usually it takes you long if you don't really do things correctly. You maybe still do weighted dips. You don't structure the program correctly. So if that guy who can do a 150 kilo dip at my height and weight, he's doing things right, he's doing a proper planche program, he's got some coaches behind him monitoring the progress, then I would say it can take up to 1-2 months to do a straddle planche.
Oh, okay, to do straddle. And full planche?
Huh?
And full planche, it would take 3-4 months?
3-4. I was just about to say 3-4. Because that's what it took me. Yes, the form was not the best. All I care about, listen, for all the people speaking about my planche and front lever, decent straight line or almost a straight line is all I care about. This type of protraction, doing things hollow back, all this stuff perfectly, it's the most important when you want to get to the next level. After 5-second hold, 8-10 second hold, you're trying to do planche press, you're trying to do all this stuff. I'm not trying to do that. I just want to get fastest progress possible and get a decent hold. And in like a month and a half, I stop planche for a very long time. Or I will do just planche push-ups because it's easy to combine with basics, you know? So
I want to get into that in a second because I also want to talk about planche training. But I want to ask you, have you ever dipped more than 115 kilo?
115?
Because you mentioned, right, 115 kilo, and then you could technically get
150.
dips, planche fast.
150, I said.
What? 150?
Yeah, I gave that example, yeah.
That's a lot, bro.
But if we're speaking about 115, again, depends on the body weight. It depends on the legs of the athlete. It depends on also many things, as you know. I would just add a month and a half to everything we spoke about. All the time frame, I would just add a month and a half.
But 115 kilo or 150?
So I spoke about 150, but now we speak about 115.
No, okay, let's do 150. Let's do 100. How much can you dip? Like, what is your craziest dip?
So I did one time a Y rep max. I did 130 kilograms at like 18 years old and a half. And you know how I base my Y rep max? Not by trying it. And I know it's a bit of a mistake. I kind of assume what it would be. You know why? Because I asked the top athletes who did 1 rep maxes, what do you think my Y rep max would be? So how did I assume that? When I did 130 kilograms for 1 rep, and I have a video of that, it was at maybe 19 years old. At that time, my best working sets were 85 kilos, 10 reps. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So I got to 100 kilos or 105 kilos, 8 reps. So it's like, it's like 20 kilos more. So you can assume it's like minimum 140, minimum. It's a good assumption. So I'm assuming it, basically. You know?
Okay, so it's a calculated 1 RM. So
yeah, because I asked the athletes. Because you know, the same athletes who can do 150, they can't do 100 for 10. Or they can't do 105 for 8 because they don't train in that rep range. But if they train in that rep range for a couple of weeks, they will get it. But they don't have a reason to, just because I asked them to. You know, why would they do it? So, yeah.
So, and you're now currently chasing planche, right? And so your dip is pretty strong.
Yeah.
And how is that journey going? Like, when did you start re-chasing it? Because you had it. Now you're re-chasing it.
Yes.
How is this journey going?
Yes. But you know what's an important thing to mention when we speak about the fact that I've had it? The last time I've done a planche and I've had it, my legs were way smaller. I was lighter and my weighted dips were weaker. So it's like, I think my body wouldn't return the same level as I had before, a bit worse, because things are more tough now. You know, I've got more leg size definitely than ever before. So last time I trained planche, maybe if I'm not wrong, it was during lockdown when I was like 18 years old or 18 years old. So it was 7 years ago or maybe even less. I'm not too good with this, but I've had very small basics and I was like 15 kilos lighter. Yeah. So it was something I've had, but it was less than now. So now things are going, faster than expected. To be honest with you, it's going very well. I'm going for wide planche. Yes, I changed my mind about doing full planche. I don't know how many seconds I said. I think 4 to 6 seconds or 6 to 8 seconds. I'm going for wide planche for at least 3 seconds and a half. If I get that, in my opinion, it's similar to doing 4 to 6 seconds full planche. So I just want to go for it because why not? You know, yes, there's many ways of training. What's the main way of training I chose? Because now I'm doing 2 seconds. And the form is good, but I'm slowly falling down. That's fine. I'm getting better at almost every workout, so it's fine. I'm doing attempts of planche, wide planche, until my attempts look very bad and I barely hold it. Once I do that, I do banded work and I put the band to the point where I can barely hold 5 seconds. So the range is 3 to 6 seconds hold. And I do 3 more sets of that. So that's all I'm doing. I'm not doing any other exercises because all I want is a hold. I don't want planche push-ups, so why would I do planche push-ups? You know?
And when did you start this journey?
I started it, I said I started it like 10 months ago. I said that because I was combining 1 arm pull-ups with planche. And I said to people, crazy. I'll get this in this amount of time. My mistake was that I'm not used to telling people, updating them on my situation. So after 2-3 weeks of doing 1 arm pull-ups and planche, I was like, man, doing planche after 1 arm pull-ups feels weird on the biceps. I don't want to tear it or get it injured. So I was like, okay, for now, I'll just work on 1 arm pull-ups and maybe just handstand push-ups like always. And I'll leave the planche once I start training front lever. And it's been 6 months of me training 1 arm pull-ups. That's when I was about to start it. But I didn't tell the people. So people assume that you've been training it all this time. No, I did not.
Okay.
And if I would train it all this time and I would get to just this level, disappointing. It's disappointing. And I would admit it. I'm more than happy to admit that, yes, I did it for 10 months and it's going shit. More than happy. But it didn't happen. I just forgot to update people, which was my mistake. When you claim something, you need to update people. I'm not used to updating people in anything. I literally said, I'll get to this amount of one-arm pull-ups. I didn't even it's been so many months, and I didn't even make a video about my one-arm pull-up progress. I just shared it on Reels. I just shared the summary so people kind of have seen it. So I forgot to update everybody. I need to get into this mindset of, if you say something, update the people because they don't know what you're doing, So, yeah.
And so you're probably like half a year or
no,
4 months?
4 months and a half.
Sorry?
4 months and a half. And I'm doing 2.2 seconds of solid. So I'm getting into the position, legs are straight, and then I slowly fall down. But I'm sure this will get fixed once I get to 3-4 seconds. Then it's impossible to slowly go down. You'll probably hold it for a bit, 2-3 seconds, and then last second you'll fall down a bit. So if I get this technique that you see now, and I can even send the video to you if you want.
I saw the video from yesterday. Is that the one?
Did I send you something? Let me double check. Just in case.
Because you posted the video on your channel.
No, that was not the last one. I will send you the last one now. And just so you understand that it's something I call decent. I don't want to do the best form possible. So look at this.
Yo, we're getting exclusive content.
Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, I don't wanna, maybe it's a mistake that I don't update people often, but basically I want to do something
update us,
solid.
Bro.
Huh?
You must update us, bro.
Yeah. It's a good idea. Yeah.
But did you send it to me or do I get it after the... Oh, okay, so it's probably sending still. Because I have a question. So you said you're being coached by, or you're getting advised. You're not getting coached, you're getting monitored, right?
Yeah. Because I've learned, I stopped doing the calls until they didn't really tell me anything new or special. So because when you have knowledge about when you have knowledge about muscle ups, how to train them, different ways of training, front lever, different ways of training, weighted calisthenics, most ways of training, you kind of, when you hear something about planche, you're not that impressed that this is a good method for it. Things kind of make sense. It's not that different. It's not that, wow, I'm impressed and I need so much time to learn about it. It's not that much. So if you know the technique on planche and front lever, how to train and how to progress is not that complicated, So I basically, yes, I'm being monitored and maybe you want to hear the names of the athletes. But that's one thing that I don't like sharing too much whenever I'm basically speaking about them, because maybe they might take it in the wrong way a little bit. Because if someone says, oh, Jan is doing bad, and that's the athlete he was coached by, because I need to explain too much about the situation. Oh, actually, I did a one call with him, and when I achieved something, I send him a video. And you know what's interesting? All of these athletes, when I send them the updation of my planche progress, how it's going, you need to see their reaction. They're shocked a bit. Bro, this is crazy. In only 4 months and a half, and you're already at this level. Because I asked them, bro, one of the best planchers, and I wouldn't say the name, but it's a guy who can do Maltese 28 seconds.
We love names, bro.
Matteo. He did 28-second Maltese. So
wait, which Matteo? Is it the Italian Spinal?
Yes. He's
one of the crazy strong guy.
Yeah. And again, if I mess up in planche or I get injured, it's not his fault. It's all me. But he's one of the athletes.
But to be honest, the things he does sometimes, I wonder how is he not injured? He's so crazy.
Yes. And honestly, I do not really do everything that he suggested me, because I did more calls to see what they say, and then I make my own opinion. So he suggested me a bit different things, but I didn't do some of them because I just want the hold. So basically, I sent them, when I spoke to him, I was like, bro, based on my level, based on everything, when do you see me do 3 seconds solid white planche? He said, a long time. He mentioned minimum 8 months, a long time. And it makes sense, because this stuff is not easy at my height and weight with my leg size. It makes sense.
No.
So I'm already getting there faster, So if I get whatever form you saw in the video, did you get the video?
No, I haven't gotten it yet.
Let me double check.
It will come in.
Let me double check.
Yeah.
So if I get this, Oh yeah, it's still loading. If I get this to like at least 3-4 seconds, for me that's gonna be more than enough. So yeah, I think it's sending now. Let me wait. Okay, no, good.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna live react. I'm gonna live react in front of you.
Yes.
Okay.
Decent, right?
You were very mentally. I love you give full effort. It's it's a little bit piked. It is a slow eccentric still, but it is getting much better. It's much better than last video.
Exactly. So my goal is to do what you saw.
Yeah.
But do instead of 2.2 seconds, 2.5, and then 2.8, and then 3. So it's all good. Now it's also, you might agree, part of the process in front lever planche. You have a period of couple of months where the technique is bad, but you're close to getting it right. So you need to go through it and train it with that. That's one of the ways of training. I'm not saying it's the only way or the best one, but that's one of the ways of training. I think if someone knows what they're doing and they have good basics, they can hit that a bit bad technique to soon get it right, you know?
Can I convince you of something?
Tell me, please convince me.
Can I? Because we talked very briefly on voice memos, and I mentioned the hollow body position. I said, hey, I relearned planche. A lot of people don't actually know. I recently posted that I relearned planche because I tore my bicep. Maybe you heard. It's like, it was terrible. But I relearned planche regardless of me tearing my bicep. And one of the ways I relearned now, and I talked to Endry Strong, for example. You know Endry Strong?
Yes, I spoke to him about planche also, by the way.
He's beautifully strong, right?
Yes.
And I talked to Hristov, for example, world champion 4 times. I talked to Calisthenics, who's a German, or
I know all of them.
He's not German.
I know all of them.
I think.
Yeah.
Very technical guys, right? And so they said to me, please work on your hollow body position, please, brother. And I was like, I want straight body. I don't want this thing, right? I've always said this. But now I was like, you know what? I'm going to work on it because I am a front lever crazy guy. Like you said, 51 second. But the difference between front lever and planche is the tension in your body, right? I didn't know this. I thought planche is like inverted front lever. In front lever, you can, yes, it is core, you engage it all, but honestly, you can relax a little bit. You can let your feet dangle a little bit. If your lats are strong enough, you can do it. But in planche, Ian, I learned that if your tension is extremely strong, if you do have the rounded position, and it takes a bit to understand it because it took me even after 14 years a long time. And if you get your hips like in line, it becomes, your lean decreases. You have a higher planche, so less chance of getting injured in your wrists. Your biceps get less strain. Your shoulders get a lot less strain. And therefore, and I know you will say this too, all that means you can do more sets. So yes, I do more sets. I'm floating. I'm not eccentricing anymore. I used to do like 5-second hold and then slowly, now I'm like holding, holding, and I'm not lowering down until I lose my hollow body position. And I think you, as a huge guy, should maybe also learn this hollow body position. You know Denton?
Yeah,
also in London.
I trained in the same gym as him for 1.5 years.
Okay, so you know he's a legend. But have you noticed big legs, juicy, especially now because he's doing 300 kilo deadlifts. His planche lean is almost less than mine, even though he's bigger. Why? Because he has the best hollow body position in the world. The craziest. He's not in the world. I'm like exaggerating. It's a little bit of marketing, but he's very strong. I think you would be safer and you would be able to maintain the full planche, even if you don't focus on it much anymore. You will get a full planche, like have it, not like touch it. You will have it. It is yours. Like Ian, full planche. What do you think?
That's it, bro. Convinced me fully. And you know why all this time I didn't take this so seriously? Because, bro, every athlete mentioned this. Every athlete. But I feel like, man, it's mostly shoulders. That's why I feel like that's where the most tension is. So abs, yes, it makes the technique better, but I didn't think like, it made kind of no sense. But if you're trying to like put your life on the line, now I see so much passion with this, which is good.
I just want to take care of you, bro.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm saying that in a good way. Bro, definitely, it makes sense. I'll focus on squeezing everything. Even if the line is not perfect, I don't care. Any line, at least close to a straight line, it's fine. But yeah, I'll focus more on this hollow back I needed that last grain.
But I also need you, bro. I need you to not, because I know you. You're gonna hit it. I know you're gonna hit it, but then you're gonna stop. Why?
Yes, I'm gonna.
We need to see full planche push-ups to hold. We can't have you stop, bro. I'm not letting you stop.
You know what it is? I will get into full planche push-ups, but not presses, not all this stuff. It's not a goal of mine.
I want you to push up. This is what I want. Maybe you can say no. You can. It's okay to say no. No one won't get mad at you. But if you entertain me with this idea, this is the set. If you do this set,
tell me.
You are Ian, not Barseagle. You're Ian Legend. I want you to do push up, push up, push up, hold. 3 seconds, like hold, and I want you to look at the camera and be like,
okay, good. You know, I thought about this a couple of times already.
Huh?
You mentioned something that I thought about a couple of times. Because, of course, doing the push-ups is nothing compared to push-up and hold. It's nothing compared to that. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. And something that I will share with you, but I wanted to keep a secret. Even in my vlogs, I don't share it. But soon, like 3 weeks before I actually need to achieve what I need to achieve, I'll start preparing my push-ups technique. I'll prepare for that also. Now I'm not. But I will prepare for that so that I do what you literally mentioned. So all this was planned already. Because imagine they say, okay, full planche push, okay, good. And then boom, you hold it. And it's not normal grip, it's wider grip also. So that's what I want to do. Or just doing a handstand and then slowly going into a negative and holding it actually.
Hold.
So that's a goal of mine. I'll get to something solid.
I will personally fly over to London.
I'm not in London.
And shake your hand. I will shake your hand the moment you do push, push, push. Hold and you look at the camera. Good, I will shake your hand publicly. Yeah. I will fly over. Okay. You won't have to. I will just. You can literally be like, okay, thank you, and you can say bye to me. We don't have to do anything.
Good.
I will just shake your hand.
Okay. Well, first thing I want to tell you, I'm not in London. So.
Oh shit! I thought you were. I saw videos of you in London.
Yeah. No, I lived there for a long time. I posted maybe some old videos and stuff.
Oh.
But yeah.
Oops.
I mean,
where are you now?
Moldova.
Ah, okay. I will go. It's fine.
Okay. But man, that's actually something I plan to do. But maybe not the way you explained it, but it sounds cool. That's something I would actually go for, you know? So it's not a bad idea. I'm definitely interested in that. Maybe this is, I would play some games. What you said now, I would call it play games a little bit. I call it that, yeah? Because it's something that is not part of the actual main sets or training. I plan to do that in my last 1-2 weeks before stopping planche. To get some cool stuff for a video. So I have some videos of me doing it. That's it. So yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. You'll actually most likely see this, or at least 2 reps and then hold. It's still decent. So
okay, 2 reps is also fine, but it needs to be 3-second hold. And I'm not talking about. And Ian, it can't be. I'm going to show you. It can't be this. It can't be. It needs to be like that. And then, I know. You're like, if you do it, you don't realize you are a legend. Like it's done. Okay. The game is over. All the haters, because there are haters out there. You know they are, but they can't speak then. Yeah, then they stop speaking.
No,
you want them to stop speaking?
Yeah. No, all good. I mean, bro, the last thing someone, if they hate it forcefully, the last thing they need is to be convinced that what they think is wrong. Because if you convince them about something, they'll jump onto something else straight away. So you can never convince those people. But, I think for the amount of, let's say, following and views that I have, I think I've got crazy good reputation. And just because maybe there are some people out there who say something, there's such, like, you can count them on 3 fingers probably, It's a very, very small amount. It's fine. It's fine. Because I see the intention behind it. Why did I have a call with you? Because I saw, yes, you made the video about it. And actually, I wanted to tell you something, but I forgot to tell you. For fun, randomly, I clicked on a video of yours where you share some knowledge about something. You know what's interesting? I had something to say about every sentence you was mentioning. But you know what stopped me and calmed down? And because I know you can never share everything. So if I would be on a call with you, look how smooth it's going. Look how we agree on everything. It's going like a good conversation. So that's why if I make a video on someone speaking about their training, I will always have something to say. So it's not something too good, because look at the conversation now. In my eyes, you're definitely way better, like your knowledge way better, everything is solid. Like you're actually like a legit guy, you know how things work. So it's very different. If I would watch a video of yours, it's hard to think the same, So once you get to a certain level, many people watch you, some coaches, some people who also sell something, they will want to speak about you and put you down so that they look better than you, you know? And if I see that their main intention of those people is usually to get on a video with you, that's not the way you need to get on a video with you. The way you did it. Respectful. Maybe you say some things about me, and if you say bad things, you say some good stuff at least. Oh yeah, but his one-arm pull-up progress was good. Oh yeah, but he can dip a lot. He can pull up a lot. But when all you're looking for is bad, and all you mention is bad, never in my life I'm doing a video, you know, with that person. Because maybe they start swearing on the call. Maybe they start being disrespectful. In life, I would never speak to this guy. And even if I do speak in life, I don't think he would say those things, you know? I don't think he would be that confident. But again, we don't even speak about this. It's something that didn't even happen yet. So, yeah.
Can I, thank you so much for touching upon that. I just want to ask you, once you've achieved this crazy full planche feat, right? Do you think the new knowledge you have formed, are you thinking back to the old ways of training and maybe making adjustments to it? Or do you think this is the best way of training already? Or do you think, oh, maybe I need to improve some things?
You know, one thing is that there's more options of training. That's for sure. There's more options. One maybe works better than the other, but they're similar. They're not that far. So yes, of course, every time I gain knowledge, something clicks and something changes, you know? And one of the things that I'm very glad about is that I didn't share knowledge online when I was young. I'm glad I waited until I knew things pretty well or achieved a good level before sharing knowledge. And that's not to discourage people who share knowledge when they didn't even achieve a lot. If you know what they're doing, keep doing your thing, keep doing your thing. You know, people will always find something to pick on and say about you. So it doesn't matter when you start. But I knew this was going to happen, you know, and later you will see people will start hating. When you get attention, it doesn't matter who you are and how good you're doing, there will be something to say, you know, so, but yeah, definitely things change all the time, all the time things change, your perspective changes, the way you think changes about some stuff, so yeah.
So you're gonna, okay. I was just wondering. And do you have anything you still want to say? Anything you're like, man, I still want to mention this, or I have something to say about this? Is there anything you want to get off your chest?
Well, what to get off your chest? Oh, is that we didn't speak about a Planche secret. And yeah, it's gonna come from me. It's the face you see before the attempt. The motivation. If you don't have goosebumps before your sets, you need to do better. So motivation should be crazy. And man, I get it every single session. There wasn't a single session in the last 4.5 months where I didn't get goosebumps before the session because I know how to create this motivation. So that's one thing that is very important, but it's easier to do it at home than it is at the gym. Because at the gym, it's a bit weird. Looks a bit weird if you do this. So,
I do want to say one thing because I'm a huge fan of giving full effort to everything. I do want to say, personally, if I was going to advise you on your planche, because right now you're doing the most specific thing that's possible, right? In order to get good at full planche, you have to do planche. That's one of the true things. But you would agree with me, it's not the safest way of probably doing it, right?
Definitely. It's the most dangerous one.
It's the most dangerous way. Why not do a safer way?
Because I'm not going to get injured. And if I do, because I'm stupid. And I've made a mistake. That's it, nothing else. It's not someone's fault.
But would you recommend it to your audience? Because you have a huge audience. Would you say train this method? Or you're like, no, please don't train this method?
It's a small chance. If it's being monitored by so if it's someone has very strong basics, very good coach, you can go for it. But even then, only if the coach is sure that his student doesn't make too many mistakes. Because again, there were many cases where I'm supposed to have a high intensity workout. I do the first working set, bicep feels weird. It feels like something could happen. I went more chill in that workout. Very hard to accept it. Very, very but I did that. So I'm very confident. I'm not going to get wrist injury. I'm not going to get shoulder injury. I'm more serious than ever before. So this is the most dangerous way, but it's also the most effective. Because you saw the video, it's not bad. It's not bad for 4.5 months.
The thing is, I just interlock my full planche again, but I train it so differently than you do. So I basically do it more banded, very light band, because the more bend, the less specific. So I try to do a bend like 6 kilo assistance. Like it's a good amount, but not too crazy. And then I try to do holds with that. I get clean activation first. Once I have clean activation, I don't have to think anymore. So it's like in my body, I'm like, okay, I understand the body. Then I try a few without assistance, only like 2, maybe 3 sets, depending how good it goes. If it's like every single one of them is like eccentric, I stop. But if it's like a good proper set, then I go back to the bandit. I do a few more to get more time on the tension, and then I stop. But every single set is safe, right? Because none of them are me like going to the max and falling out of it. I don't really fall. I controlly get out of it. And I tore my bicep, Ian. My life was ruined.
This grip?
I don't. No. Well, it was Maltese. So it was neutral. But that's a good thing you mentioned. Supinated is more dangerous. But the reason why I mention it is just be safe, man. I want you to be safe because you're a good guy. Yeah. You're a strong guy. You have shown that you're strong. You're a buff guy. Once you lose the bicep, you lose all of that.
For sure. The most dangerous thing I can ever think of, it's needing a surgery to reattach a muscle.
Oof.
Because I know you're going to feel that surgery all your life a little bit. And then once you stop training, you get weaker, you feel it even more. And then you feel it and you have bad sleep and all this stuff. I know. It's
Please
a rainy
safe,
day.
Man.
It's humid outside and you feel it also. I know this stuff. That's one thing I'm also very worried about, but I wasn't even close to that. Just to understand. I'm very
just
careful.
Be safe, huh?
And you know how I would change my training now, but it's hard to do it because I want to train at home, but I don't have the right things. I would do also planche attempts, but I would use the band that would help me so much so that I barely hold 3-4 seconds. I think this 3-4 second range
that's okay.
is better than me barely doing 1.5 or 2.
I would do 3-6. 3-6 because when you do 3, you don't have a guarantee that you're not doing eccentric. When you do 3-6, you're guaranteed to have floating sets. Because there are floating sets and there are eccentric sets.
Good.
And right now, my wish for you of course you have your professionals, but I would say I would love to see floating sets from you. We're not seeing enough floating. A floating set is a set where nothing changes. You're just holding it. There's no going down. It just boom. It's like full control.
Good.
It's an actual hold. If I'm not saying all your sets need to be floating sets, I'm saying have some sets be floating sets.
I did today.
Because I think it's going to make a huge difference.
I did today with the band. I used the band. So, you know, what I'm going to do from today's call, for example, I'm going to try to do the attempts in again. Okay, wait 1 second. The battery. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in the first 3 sets, maybe attempts that maybe 2-3 seconds barely. But in the last half of the workout, I would do what you mentioned. So 4 to 6 sets where you actually hold the right position, but it's still tough enough for this to be effective. Because if you go on a range of 12 seconds, 15...
No, that's too long. That's too long.
Yeah. So it's good. It's good. Good call, man. Good call. I'm glad.
The only reason why I say it, bro, is as a medical doctor, I need to make sure you're safe.
Yes, thank you very much.
I just want you to be safe, and I care about that most. I don't care about all the other stuff. I just care for you to become the strongest version of yourself.
You know,
because bro, at the end of the day, I will let you finish. At the end of the day, how sick would it be if you have control of a full planche at 188 centimeters and 92 kilo?
I know. Yes, for sure. You know. Now I'll go into a different topic that you'll be impressed that you have to admit that it's true as a medical doctor. You'll be impressed and upset and confused. In my opinion, the best specialist for any human being is the guys that you probably seen online who punch in the back, in the spine, to adjust a spinal disc.
What? What are you saying, Ian?
Yes, that's a random. In my opinion, that's true. You know why? Because I've been to this type of specialist many times. Nobody has been even close to doing 10% effective results as them. Nobody.
You mean the meme videos where they smack the hammers and everything?
But not with hammers, maybe I'm not sure about them. But there is one guy, Yuri Repin from Russia. He is dead now, but he taught a school on how to adjust the spinal disc by setting your finger where you want it to go. Boom. It's not too crazy. It doesn't feel too painful unless you've got an inflammation there. It's painful. Yes, you might feel it for a couple of days after the session. It's tough. You're not allowed to work out for a good amount of time. And people who don't work out and are weak, they will feel pain, crazy 1-2 weeks after the session.
Bro, you're right. I don't agree with this. As the doctor,
Yes, for sure.
I tell people don't do this.
Yes, I'll tell you one thing. One day I had my neck, it was hard to twist it to the left. It was hard to twist it to the right. Lower back pain that I usually had for 6 years. I've had also weird pain in a tendon in the chest. And I think I've had something else. I remember 4 injuries in that day. Fixed within 3 minutes. They didn't come back at all. Unless I messed up again. Unless I got the same injury again. They don't come back. Nobody, I've been to so many specialists, nobody is even close to this stuff, as much as it's crazy. And he said that himself. I've been to him like 4 days ago. He said, a medical professional, a doctor, they will never, don't bring them to me, they will never believe in this stuff. But it's true. You know, it's the best result. And I think maybe I'll promote this one day and say that yes, it's true. Yes, it's crazy. For people who are weak, for me, I go to him 2-3 days or even first day, I don't feel it. He can punch me 20 times, adjust the spine perfectly. I don't feel it next day, I'm chilling. Someone weak, someone who's got a weak body, they will suffer for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, there is medical explanation on why it works. It's the same argument for why dry needling might work. The idea is pain is a very complex thing, right? The feeling of pain, just having the feeling can like limit range of motion. And pain, we used to think, is a mechanical problem. So like you said, you adjust the spine and stuff, right? That's a mechanical thing you need to fix. But we now found that the mechanical model of pain is very short-sighted. All doctors believe in that model. There's a new model out there, and it's called the biopsychosocial model of pain. And what the biopsychosocial model of pain says is the moment you get you have nociceptors, for example, in my skin here. Let's say I punched it now. These nociceptors, they send a signal all the way here to my spinal cord, and then it goes there. This doesn't say pain, it just says something happened, right? Then my brain looks at that signal, and it looks at all the information that came in. It looks at, okay, we saw it getting punched. We know technically gravity is touching it, so something happened. We know that this is most likely a bad thing. So now let's interpret this as pain. Now it became pain. Why do I mention this? A good example is my father. He fell in front of me and he hit his elbows both like this. He's also a doctor. After that, he went to work for a week. Just normal working. It was like a little bit stiff, but it was working. After a week, he was like, this is weird. It's like no full range of motion. So he had a scan, right? An x-ray. Both broken, completely shattered. But he didn't have pain until the radiologist told him it's broken. Mm-hmm. So the signal was coming in, but it wasn't observed as pain because he didn't believe it was broken. The moment he knew it was broken, it started hurting. Okay? So now we have this knowledge, right? Why does it work that when you punch this thing is when you tell a patient, this is like a placebo effect. If you tell them, if I punch there, they feel something happening. Oh, I put it right. Now the signal is being sent to the brain and the brain thinks, oh shit, he fixed it because it feels different. And now the brain is like, this is not pain anymore. So you tricked the brain. It's the best example of placebo.
Yes.
Why am I not a fan of this? I am a fan of dry needling, but I'm not a fan of this. Why? Because there are cases, like rare cases, yes, of where there's neck mobilizations going on, that there's there's an artery called the carotis. And there are documented cases of people getting a stroke, like literally a brain stroke, after one of these manipulations, and they die, or get paralyzed. I think it's good to do dry needling because it's much safer, but this method has too much risk. And I think the mechanism could medically work. I explained to you how it could work, but it's not the way it works. It's just the whole story around it. That's why I want people to be safe. I don't want you to have a stroke, bro. I don't want you to die in front of me.
Very good point. But he doesn't do this twisting neck thing that every chiropractor does. He doesn't do those techniques. Mm-hmm. And why do I think it's not placebo? For sure. Because my brother has been there. My friend has been there. You can see their hips, one higher than the other, something popping out. The spine, one disc fully to the left, one to the right, one too close to each other. End of the session, fully perfect line.
Yeah, but it's more likely, and you might not agree with me, it's more likely that the pain causes contractions locally which misaligns the spine.
Yes.
Because it's very, like, unless you have actual scoliosis, which is proven on a scan where you see it, it's very unlikely that that is a real scoliosis. But again, this is like a sidestep on the subject. It's a very complex subject. It's something I will discuss in the future with one of these videos.
Good one.
But and yes, you're right. Maybe he's not doing the neck thing, but there's also cases of causing vertebrae damage.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's just there's safer ways of making sure these people are pain free, and I think we should do those methods. But I do think that it's important to look at why it works. And my opinion is, because we know this model now, we know what's going on, is that it's more likely that it's a biopsychosocial model type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. But even this method, it will never help a person if they don't exercise to keep their body in place. Or to
work out. Everyone needs to work out. I agree. Everyone needs to work out.
Yeah, definitely. Because same problem will come back because the body is used to be in the wrong place. Walk while the hips are not in the right place. Do things. The muscles are used to be in the wrong place. So no matter if you fix it, in a couple of days it might come back. So you need to keep it, be careful a couple of days, do not do crazy movements, and then slowly exercise and still consistently go for a while to them while they try to keep you straight while you exercise and balance your body base. So it's a good long subject.
I agree. You have to make people move and not be afraid of pain, because if you're afraid of pain, that's going to make pain worse. Yeah. So I do agree with that. But then again, I do want to say, as a medical doctor, I don't approve of smacking your spine. Makes
sense. Yeah, this is one of the best students that guy had. So only good results. I got fixed everything 4 days ago. My wife fixed everything. She had a lot of problems. Straight away fixed. Same day you feel that is fixed. So it's good. It's a good subject. Basically, we can get into it one day later.
We can get in the future. I want to thank you for being on the podcast.
No problem.
For going through so many subjects. It was a bit longer than I expected, but it was fun. We had great fun, I think.
It's fine. A lot of knowledge.
Yeah, and I'm looking so much forward to your full planche push-ups to hold. I will fly over. I am not kidding. I will fly over. I'm a man of my words.
Good.
Everyone knows I'm a man of my words. So again, thank you so much for doing this with me.
If you fly over, buy me some liquid chalk because it's hard to get in Moldova, yeah?
Sure.
Quick
100%.
present.
I'll get you the best liquid chalk.
No problem. But yeah, cool, man. So I guess we'll do maybe another call if people like it. If we see that this gets some good views, people like it, people like a little bit, then we do it. If you see that nobody likes, not even 10 likes, then we don't do it.
Then we drop this.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Have a good one.
This is Ian Barseagle and Dr. Yaad.
Take care.
Bye-bye.